what kinds of things interest you. And sometimes that's really hard if you pretty much just sort of show up and just kind of get through the day. And a lot of times with the clients that I work with, they actually don't really take a lot of time to think about what they want. And they don't take a lot of time to dream about if they could do something that they're not currently doing that would be fun or challenging. Usually those go together. What would that look like?
Craig is a fellow Olympian and Paralympian. He was born with a birth defect called Proximal femoral focal deficiency, which I've never even heard of, so I'll ask him to elaborate on that later on. He became a world-class champion in wheelchair racing and setting 21 world records and earning 8 world champion titles. He was born with the desire to compete and to get the most out of every experience. His athletic accomplishments and winning attitude landed him a full Nike sponsorship that lasted him 8 years, and today he coaches others to be their best. Welcome, Craig.
One of my life's mottos, a lot of times people will come to an obstacle. They have a goal that they want, and then they come to an obstacle, and the obstacle looks really big at first glance. And they say, I can't fill in the blank. I can't get over that curb, or I can't get beyond that doorway, or I can't, get past that thing. And my little phrase that I use is, let's just assume that I can. And if I could, what would be the first thing that I'd need to solve? Or another way of putting it is, how can I? They had a pretty nice downhill, and then they had two 90-degree corners, and then the road got narrow after the second corner because they had a lane of traffic. And so I came down through that, not knowing the road was going to narrow and not knowing there would be cars on the course, and came around the corner, and I couldn't make the corner, and so I hit the car, and I broke my whole shoulder, and had to have my massive rotator cuff reconstruction, and broke some ribs, and it was pretty gnarly. And so from that accident, I learned what it was like not to be able to use one of my arms for 8 months. Being healthy is a combination of movement, and it's the body, moving the body, it's the ways that you think, and it's the choices you make food-wise. And so it's a combination of those things. And so the things that I would say, is find something that you're interested in. Like if you like mechanical types of things, then wheelchair racing or hand cycling might be more up your alley. If you like things that are more that have like a lot of skill and coordination, or where you get to work with a team, then you might want to do a team sport. And they've obviously basketball is a simple one. They've got rugby for some. They've got sled hockey. Things where you're actually having to work as a team. If you like being around or on doing team sports. I've never really done a ton of team sports, so I've always done the wheelchair racing, marathons, and track. and then the hand cycling.
And once you get in contact with one, they will get you in contact with others. They usually will know of other organizations. So start with one, and then
to build community too.
Exactly.
They're trying to develop community with all the users and getting the people. And one thing that we all have, we have one thing in common: we're human beings. Okay, so we all have common unity that we're human, and then many of us will use wheelchairs. Great. So now we're human and we use wheelchairs. So we have two things that bond us together. Now if we like sports, now we're human, we're wheelchairs and sports, right? And so we find the things that will unite us, and there's plenty of them out there. I don't expect the world to cater to me. There's certain things. Everybody in the world has things that they can't do. That the world's not designed for everyone. And so I realize that that's the case, and there's still plenty of things that I can do. And so I focus on the things that I can do, and then I build as much of my own skill sets to give me even more possibilities. So she said, when you're able to, I noticed when you came out the door, you held the door for that lady. She goes, did that make you feel good? And I said, yeah. She goes, I also noticed that when you were unloading your bags, there were a couple people that wanted to help you and you didn't let them. She goes, does it make you feel good when you're able to help somebody? And I said, yes. And she looked me in the eyes and she said, don't rob people of that experience. And I was like, oh, you're so good for me, right? Because think about it. When you're able to help somebody, it makes you feel good. And if you're the one receiving the help, you just got to take your pride and you got to just put it over in the corner and let somebody help you, because it makes them feel good. And plus, it's okay to have help. Mm-hmm. So when here's another pretty strong principle. It's the concept of being unoffendable. And this is where our culture is all twisted and out of shape, is you can choose to be offensive to me, but that doesn't mean that I have to be offended. But in our culture nowadays, people think that they're just offended. They're looking for things to be offended at. And I don't live my life. My life is much, much happier and much more fulfilling living it this way than looking for things to be offended about, And so if somebody wants to call me disabled, great. It's fine. Whatever. It really doesn't make any difference. I'm not offended by that. And so I'm trying to become unoffendable. And that is what I have in my control 100%.